Well, here's an update on the 1973 Harley Davidson FX Super Glide. It's almost done. Just wanted to go through it and show you what I've done. This is part 4 of this little mini series on this bike. I didn't go crazy on it as far as trying to bring it totally back right now. I just wanted to get parts that I could get for it, and I wanted to get it back together because it's hard moving stuff around when it's all apart. Here again, this bike I bought in about 6 miles away from us, and it came out pretty good. I replaced a lot of parts on it. I had to replace the exhaust system. The exhaust was really bad, and these are aftermarket. They actually have the stampings though for the 1965 pencil exhaust pipes. I just got some drag pipes, chrome drag pipes. That was the cheapest. I paid $100 for the drag pipes, and I forget what I paid for the pencil tips, but they matched up pretty well. And all the hardware, I'm still missing the rear bracket that goes on the back exhaust pipe. But for the most part, it worked out pretty good. Got the battery in there, and there's no fluid in this battery. It's just it's an empty battery, and it's got that Harley original cover that they put on the batteries back in the day. The ribbed air cleaner, that was original to the bike. It's got the FX original, that's new old stock FX label. The brake system is pretty much all new old stock stuff in there. The master brake, rear master brake, that was cleaned out, and I pulled it all apart, cleaned it inside. I have not filled it back up. The rear strut bar there, it's the cadmium color, that's the way it should be. Shocks did nothing with. I did paint the cylinders just to give it better exposure, and I also did I painted the tappet blocks that cadmium color. Carburetor is the original to the bike, but now it has the correct mounting bracket. It's got the correct choke on it, and it's got the correct throttle cable. It's an internal throttle cable on it. The front wheel is all back together. I'm missing still waiting for that part to come in. That's the reflector for it. But the fender, I had to modify this front fender because it did not have this eyelet. So I just went in there and replaced the bushing in there to do that, so that it's pretty much looks like the bike. Frame's pretty clean. The frame looked like it had been painted. The VIN number, I don't even know, I forget where the VIN number is on this thing, but anyhow, front of the bike, not much change. You've seen it from the past videos. It's got front disc brakes. I did clean the front wheel up a little bit. I'm still waiting for the shifter cover for it. I've got the speedometer on it. I'm waiting for the travel set, trip set thing to come in. High beam, low beam, all the gauges work from the battery. And over here, everything is pretty much buttoned up. I haven't put the fuel line in. It's missing fuel line right there. Haven't put the fuel line on yet. And it's pretty clean. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm not looking for perfect. I'm just looking for it to be representative of a 1973 bike. And it's pretty good. Should not have that chrome. That primary case should be polished aluminum, not chrome. And same thing with the dome cover. And I believe even the inspection cover on the primary cover, that should be just cadmium, but it's chrome. So, but it's got original Harley Davidson rubber on it, both the shifter and all the passenger rubber and everything is on it. It's got the correct rear tail light lens and the tail light bracket, the license plate bracket. I still got to go in and clean the rear wheel. I haven't done that yet. But the tank was repainted. I believe this bike was crashed, and I think they had it repainted. The fender, I think the fender was replaced because I don't think that's the original fender, front fender for it. You can tell by some of the hardware on it that it looked like it had been scuffed up. And you know, this tank, the way it's mounted, I mean, it's hooked on here. You can see it's got a hook here, and it's mounted, and then it's got this little spring back in there that holds the tank on, and there's a rubber mount in here. That rubber mount there, that mount holds the tank, and there's a horseshoe piece up inside there. You know, that's just lazy on AMF's part. I mean, I blame AMF for cost cutting on that. That's just shitty. There's no other way to describe it, but that's just poor way to mount a gas tank. You know, especially on a vibrating Mohican like this guy. So I didn't do anything with the oil tank. The oil tank, I'm just looking right now, and you can see it's kind of dirty back in there. I guess I need to get back in there and clean that a little better. But the bike has been totally rewired from head to toe, and it's all wired to the color code and to where the leads go. As far as the controls on it, there's only 3 controls on this bike, basically. There's the high beam, low beam. There's the horn. Over here, this is what I originally stated. That would have been the starter if it was an electric start bike, but it's not. It's the kickstart. So this is just an auxiliary button. It's actually, the wiring just ends because it's not hooked up to the a starter relay. And then this is the on and off button. So that, and then of course the odometer, trip odometer. That's the only thing that are controls on the bike. And then it's got the choke there. As you can see, the choke is in the correct position. You can see the throttle cable coming in there. That's actually the correct mount. That's the way they mounted the throttle cable in there. That's the correct fuel cock for the peacock, or whatever it's called, petcock for the fuel. The the jiffy stand, kickstand, that was all dorked up, ground down to nothing. So I bought a new old stock for that. I'm running a aftermarket rectifier. The horn's original to the bike. Anyhow, I'm probably not going to go much further as far as videos on this bike. I think it's pretty much done what I'm going to do with it, and just put it over there with the rest of the bikes and just look at it from time to time as another piece of Harley Davidson history in the AMF saga. It does have spark. I have not tried to kickstart it, but it does have spark. It's got basically just a points electrical system in it. I just checking this, and it does have spark to the spark plugs, the coil, all that's correct. I did have to replace these reflectors, the ones that were on it. I don't know what they were off of, but these are chrome perimeter reflectors, and they are correct for the bike. That's what they should be, and they're pretty much in their proper location. The other ones did not have the chrome, and I don't know what they were off of. They were kind of the right size, but I don't know what they were off of. So I might throw those on the homemade Sportster and put them on that. So anyhow, I think it's a good looking bike. I mean, compared to what they look like today, I mean, this is really a true bike that shows everything that there is to know about the engine in it and the way it was constructed. It's just a really good example of a early 70s Harley Davidson, and that's kind of my era where I grew up. I don't remember these bikes in the dealership. The dealership that I went to was basically a small dealership in the San Fernando Valley, and they only had room for probably, gosh, maybe 8 bikes on the showroom floor. They also were the local for the Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol brought their bikes to this Harley Davidson dealership to have their service work done. And apparently the story goes in the day that the Highway Patrol ran high-test Chevron fuel, and the guys at the Harley Davidson dealership says you should never run Chevron high-test fuel, high-octane fuel, because it had a tendency to burn the valves. Both, I don't know if it was the intake valve or it was probably the exhaust valve, but they had a tendency to burn the valves. And so they were prematurely having to go in and do valve jobs on the bikes that they got from the Highway Patrol. It does hold the original seat, and the seat is actually in really good condition. The seat is held in with a Phillips head screw, not a little knob or anything like they are nowadays. And I tried to follow. I have a parts catalog, and everybody who's tries to restore a bike or tries to keep it original, they should get the parts catalog. And the beauty with the older Harley Davidsons, their parts catalog would tell you the thread size, the pitch of the thread, the length, and the type of nut or bolt or washer or screw it was. So in restoring one of these older bikes, it's really easy to make sure you're using the right fastener in the right location. Now this particular bike, because it's kind of an early 73, there were some questions that I had about some of the hardware that they used. some of the parts weren't correct. I mean, the bolts and the fasteners. Some of them, you know, sometimes they would call out a 3/8 24 bolt, and it really should have been a 5/8 bolt. And so I did compromise there where I felt that it needed to have the right size bolt for the application that I was doing. I also figured out the mount for the battery. Now I did modify this. I had to move it. It's basically a flat plate now where it used to be set back. Well, I found out what the story is on that. On the oil tank had 2 rubber mounts on the back side of the battery box. And so that would bring the battery box out, the vibration dampener rubber, and so that mount would actually have that mount would be behind the battery's mounting with a dampener in it. So that's why I questioned, you know, what that was. I hope this, you know, helps out anybody that's doing a restoration. These bikes, you know, there's quite a few bikes out there, you know, but they're getting more expensive all the time. I think Harley is letting their fans and their customers down by some of the designs they're doing nowadays, and the pricing is just insane. And really, a bike like this would get more looks than a brand new, you know, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 Harley nowadays. And yeah, the reliability, you know, there's a reliability factor, but it's just, you know, they just don't make these things, you know, anymore. You know, everything's exposed, and that's, you know, as a mechanical guy, I love to see all the mechanics to the bike and how it, you know, how it was put together. It's just a great piece to look at and to see how it was built. And you know, like that frame, you know, that's a 1968, I think, frame for a Super Glide, or maybe a 67. I think 67 was the first year for the well, I shouldn't say that but what I'm trying to say is this is a 1972 frame, but it's actually, I think it goes back to like 1966 maybe, is when with the first shovel head. That was the shovel head panhead, you know, trade-off year. I just, you know, I'm document this just to have a document. So if I get bored at night and I want to see something, I can come in here and, you know, and take a look at this particular bike that I did. You know, it's far from perfect, but I think it's a good example. I think that it definitely needed, the owner, he did not put the stripes on it. I think that definitely gives it that AMF, you know, look to it that it did back in the day. So it still needs some cleaning up to do. I just wanted to get it back together and to just to move on. I want to start working on. I've still got 2 bikes I want to really do this summer into the fall, and that's the little homemade Sportster bike. I'm collecting parts for that right now, and I've also got that 71 that I want to start working on and get it going. It needs. I've got new wheels, rims for it, new spokes for it. I've got a lot of stuff to do to that bike, so I want to get that bike up and running, and but this bike, it's a pretty clean bike, and you know, I you know, when you talk about paying up on it and stuff, I mean, if you you know, if you look these bikes up, of course, today's market's kind of strange right now because of what's going on out there in the world, and you know how everybody is just trying to buckle up and, you know, deal with what's crazy going on out there. The parts that I bought for this, I didn't spend a lot of money for parts because I have a lot of parts that I can use from other bikes, because if I make like a transition bike, like the then came Bronson bike that I built, or the 71, 72 Super Glide, you know, I have parts that I can add to this, you know. So the only thing I bought basically for this bike was the brake controls, well, the rear brake assembly, because I do not believe it was chromed. I did buy the exhaust system for it, and I had the handlebar grips and all that, and its internal throttle. I had all the cables and controls. I did have to buy a speedometer cable. I did have to buy the speedometer housing for it. I had the bottom part of it, but I did not have the single piece. And I like those bikes. They had, like the Sportsters, they actually had tacks on these bikes back when starting, I guess, in 74, 75, where they had the Sportster tack as well as the speedometer on it. I think that's a good look, but here again, I was just trying to make this bike, if you looked in a brochure or a catalog, you'd basically see this is what you would see. And that's kind of what I'm going for. Anyhow, so I'm missing the rear exhaust bracket. I'm missing the shift cover chrome piece. I'm missing the front reflector. And I think that's it. I probably already said stuff that I would have known. Oh, and I want to get a license plate for it. I try to get the same, like I get the license plates I get are for like Virginia, and this would be 1973. So I'd like to try, and they're on eBay. It's just I try to wait for one that's reasonably priced. Right now, there's some out there that are insanely priced. I missed one. One was being bid on, and I don't know what I was thinking about. I didn't bid on it, and it went for $9, and it was really good condition. So you just got on eBay. You just got to kind of go with what's, you know, market should bear, and you get some good deals out there. So anyhow, this is the 1973 Harley Davidson. And I do have a Virginia title for it now. Numbers matching. It's got 16,000 some odd miles on it. And the gauge I had was, this is the gauge off of the blue Sportster, and that's the correct mileage for the blue Sportster. So I'm still looking for a speedometer that's closer to 16 something on it to put that on there. So anyhow, I think it came out fairly well. Thanks for looking, and I appreciate, you know, appreciate you watching my videos. You know, I'm not a big time video guy. You know, I'm just a guy here with a, you know, 20-year-old camera trying to keep it from jittering and go through it, and then just kind of photograph the bike as to what it is and some of the findings I see, and you know, just helpful for people that aren't really familiar with these bikes. You can kind of go in and point out what's going on. But if you have the parts catalog, it really helps a lot to make sure you're going down the right path. So I think I've talked enough, so I'm going to sign off now. Thanks again. This is a 1973 Harley Davidson, numbers matching, FX, kickstart only, Super Glide. Thanks for watching.